Radio.
Welcome, everybody, to Soul Purpose Healing. We're jamming with some African music tonight because it's Black History Month and the birthplace of all humans is in Africa. So let's jam with some African music tonight. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
The beat is tana tana. It go make you manya manya. The next is in manya manya. This is for people with talaja. People with talaja. Can I do walanya? Nandi kalanya. It go make you feel better. This can take away palava. This can take away wahala. It go make you feel nicer. Oh yeah, let's go to Kenya, Rwanda, and Tanzania. Togo, Cameroon, Niger, Ghana, Southern Sudan. Oh yeah, make you Rikota, Mama Africa, Rikota, eh. Make you no fight, oh. You go forget your sorrow. Makachuku, you go buy a stay for your motto. Hey, this one, Sara. The beat is Tana Tana. It go make you manya manya. The next is in manya manya. This is for people with kalaka. People with kalaka. Nandi walanya. Nandi kalanya. It go make you feel better. This can take away palava. This can take away wahala. It go make you feel nicer. Oh yeah, let's go to Zambia, Uganda, South Africa, Togo, Cameroon, Burundi, also Benin Republic. Hey, oh yeah, make you Rikota, Mama Africa, Rikota, eh. Make it just everybody Rikota, Mama Africa, Rikota, eh. Make it just when the Tara day, oh Tara day, make it just oh Tara day, Mama Africa, Tara day, make it just
Woohoo! That was a little bit of African rhythm beat going there. And we are joyfully going to talk about some African kings and queens tonight because I viewed 4 episodes of a new docudrama on Netflix called African Queens. Beautiful, beautifully done. And the acting was superb, I thought. So I love to share reviews of movies like that. And if you've seen it, feel free to chime in if you've seen the African Queen docudrama, the first of it, because it's a series. It's going to be a series coming up. This was the first one called Njinga. Njinga is the name of the queen who ruled over a country in the middle part, or I guess you would call it Central Africa. Africa's a huge continent. I'm surprised how many people think Africa is a country. Continent, think continent. And we could fit the United States inside of Africa as one country, but Africa's huge. And watching this docudrama just helped me realize how big this place is because they were only focusing. The docudrama African Queens only focuses on a very small part of Africa, and you get a real sense of what was going on, the dynamics of the relationships among the people there and the Portuguese and the Dutch people who were very busy doing what they were doing, trying to find cheap labor for their cotton fields and sugar cane fields all the way over in Brazil. So I'm going to share with you my views on this docudrama because I think we can learn so much about it in our current day relationship conflicts, chaos, because there was a lot of chaos in that little country. And this is a true story now. So it's not something that was made up. You had historians reviewing this docudrama, sharing what is now written in document and in history. So first, let's have some fun with Pisces because this is my season, my astrology sign. So I can give more insight on this astrology sign as to how a Pisces energy evolves. Because I will take you along with these great audios I found. I'll take you from the unconscious state of Pisces to the more conscious, evolved state. And that's what astrology is all about. When you look at these astrological signs, we should be interpreting and evaluating them based on the original context of the universe and the stars. And then how do people fit in? They enter Earth's atmosphere when those souls come in under the Pisces sign, which is February 19th today, and there's a new moon. So this is some high energy going on. And I've been feeling it for real because I had a great weekend on the beach. I was at the beach this morning for the sunrise. I did some sun gazing this morning on the beach when the sun came up. Oh, heaven, 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 orgasmic experience for me to just sit and watch the waves and breathe and feel the sun and gaze into the sun. So that's my Pisces energy in a conscious state. So I want to share with you first and foremost, though, about the because astrology is sometimes not with me, but sometimes controversial with people in our society. And some, especially religious minds, don't really think it's relevant. Well, here is a little bit about how the creator of the universe looks at the astrological signs. Here's just a little bit about what we can uh, overstand from a perspective, a universe creator energy versus what we'll get into later, understanding and understanding. So let's listen to this brief analysis of how the creator looks at astrology.
This is what God said to each of the zodiac signs. You see, we often leave out the most important impression of all gods. So what does God have to say to individuals from each zodiac sign? Let's take a listen. 1. For Aries, I present the seed first to you, so that you may plant it. For every seed you plant, it will multiply by 1 million, but you will not have time to watch the seed grow. Everything you plant will produce seed that needs to be taken forth and planted again. It is not your job to help each seed grow. What you must do is merely plant the ideas I present you in others' minds. To help you accomplish this task, I give you the gift of self-esteem. 2. For Taurus, I instruct you, Taurus, to nurture each seed and nurse it into substance and health. This is a job that, no doubt, requires great patience, as you are required to finish that which has been started, lest the seeds be wasted. To help you accomplish this task, I give you the gift of strength. 3. For Gemini, I grant you, Gemini, all the questions without answers. Your task is to pose these questions to the world, so that they might ponder and gain a greater sense of understanding as a result. To help you accomplish this task, I give you the gift of knowledge. 4. For Cancer, you have the task of teaching people to accept their emotions. Your life will be one dedicated to causing both laughter and tears in the lives of everyone you come across, so that they might think and develop character. For this, I grant you the gift of family. 5. For Leo. Your job is to display my creation to the world through your talents and abilities. You must be wary of pride and keep in mind that it is my creation, not yours. If you forget this, people will laugh at you. But if you do this well, I will grant you the gift of honor. 6. For Virgo. I ask that you examine all that mankind has done with my creation. I grant you permission to scrutinize their ways and remind them when they falter. To help you do this effectively, I grant you purity of thought. 7. For Libra. Your mission is service. Your actions will remind humans of their duty to others. This will help them learn cooperation and grant them the ability to reflect on the consequences of their actions. To help you fulfill this task, I grant you the gift of love. 8. For Scorpio. Your task is very difficult. You have the ability to know what lies in the heart of others, but you do not have permission to speak about it. There will be times when you are hurt by what you discover in others' minds. And this may lead you to turn away from me when you forget that it is not me who is causing your pain, but rather my task. So why have I granted you this task, if it is so difficult? Well, there is a plus side. You will discover your gift of purpose through this open book look at humanity. 9. For Sagittarius. Sagittarius, I ask that you make people laugh. Why? Because people tend to become bitter as they misunderstand me and my ideas. But the laughter you provide them will turn their eyes back towards me. For this task, I grant you infinite abundance of joy. 10. For Capricorn. I ask that you work hard so that others may see and be motivated to do the same. I grant you the gift of responsibility to help you with this undoubtedly grueling task. 11. For Aquarius. You are granted with the task of conceptualizing the future, so that others may see and interpret it with as great a degree of skill as you. To help you with this task, I grant you the gift of freedom. 12. For Pisces. Your task is the most difficult of all, for you must collect the world's sorrows and return them to me. Your tears will be my tears, and the sorrow you will absorb will often arise as a result of people's misunderstanding of my plan. But you will have the gift of understanding to pull you through this task.
All right, that was just a quick summary of the Most High's perspective on astrology. Wow, I just got a glimpse of my son, who's a Sagittarius. One of my sons is a Sagittarius. And that audio, and this is just general information. Please don't take it, but take it with a grain of salt. I listen to so many YouTube videos to educate, to learn, to grow. That one got my attention as I listened to it. And then hearing it tonight, Sagittarius, your gift is, or your job is to make people laugh. Oh my goodness, my son, my youngest son is doing his job. I didn't think about it so much till I heard this, but Sagittarians, he's a strong Sagittarian, and he's doing a really great job now that I think about it. So praise the Most High. And when we hear these type of summaries, I hope that you are better able not to judge people for their imperfections, or not to judge them for their weaknesses, but to see these descriptions of those born in a certain season under a certain sign under the cosmic order of things, that they have a job to do. All of these speak to me of all of us have a purpose. And we can listen to these types of discoveries or analysis or summaries and think, oh, this is more what I was designed to do. This actually is pointing me to the energy that existed when I came into this planet. And that summary shows for every sign, the Creator gave you a purpose. So I want to go more into Pisces because this is the season we're in and this is the direction we're going. And I have one here. I have several, but new moon, there's a new moon in Pisces. and that starts today. So let's listen to this information. First of all, about Pisces, the energy or soul that entered the atmosphere around February 19th through March 20th, something like that. And what does that energy say to you? What does that energy represent to you? I'm a March 12th baby, so I'm kind of in the middle. And I'm listening to these directions and this information, thinking about how have I evolved. And because these descriptions of Pisces may or may not give you the information about evolution or not, consciousness or not. So this one in particular is about, there's a new moon in Pisces. This season we're in right now is so important to grasp hold of the energy, use it for your very best good. So, and you can better understand those Pisces in your life, like myself, and be more empathic, empathetic, sympathetic about what we're growing and learning in this new moon season.
Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. It's Solana, and in today's video I want to talk to you guys about this new moon in Pisces that's happening on February 20th, Monday at 2:06 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. But if you're on the West Coast, it's going to be happening on February 19th at 11:06 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So in this video, I just want to talk to you about the energy that we're going to be experiencing and some things to look out for during this new moon. So number one, what makes this new moon quite different from some of the others? Okay, you guys, so right now, or when the new moon happens, we'll have several planets in the sign of Pisces, okay? So it'll be a new moon in Pisces, the sun's in Pisces, Venus is in Pisces, and another planet, Neptune, is in Pisces. Okay, so we have a lot of Pisces energy happening right now, right? And so Pisces, as you guys know, is a water sign. And it's all about like dreams, the subconscious. It's a very dreamy, ethereal sign, really. And so with that being said, we're going to have a lot of intuitive hits, a lot of intuitive hunches. Maybe a lot of things from our subconscious might come up to the surface because of all that energy that's in Pisces right now, okay? So you can also expect an increase in your creativity because Pisces is a very creative sign. Not only is it sensitive, emotional, and dreamy, but it's also very creative. So you might notice some new interests in creative habits like music or writing, drawing, arts, whatever. It's ruled by the 12th house, or it rules the 12th house of astrology. And we know that the 12th house is all about our subconscious, things that we don't really talk about, right? It's about the things that stay underground and that's not really discussed in the daylight. Also with Pisces, it encompasses the energy of all of the signs before it. It's a sign that can view the bigger picture, right? It's almost like having a life path number 9, right? Which it has all the numbers before it. So it's similar in that sense, which makes it very wise and knowing and intuitive. So you can expect an increase in your intuition with all of these planets being in Pisces, especially Neptune. Neptune actually rules the sign of Pisces, while Jupiter does as well. Traditionally, Jupiter rules Pisces, and Jupiter is very expansive. It's a big thinker. Neptune is, again, related to that subconscious, the hidden, things we don't like to talk about, the taboo subjects. You know, it's all about, some people say prisons and mental hospitals and things like that. So you can definitely, I'm sure you might already have noticed a shift in your emotions. Maybe you're feeling things a lot deeper, right? Maybe some old stuff is coming up to the surface and you're just like, what's going on? All right. Maybe there's some old relationship stuff that's being brought to the surface with that Venus in Pisces, okay? With the moon being in Pisces, of course, there's going to be that high emotional energy all around us right now. One thing I forgot to mention, guys, while I'm editing this video, I realized I forgot to mention the numerology of February 20th, 2023, and that actually is a number 11 day, okay? So number 11 is all about that spiritual connection with the divine, right? It's about merging the heavens and the earth, right? The spiritual and the material, bringing that into balance. It's the energy of the sun and the moon coming into harmony. It's the intuition. 11 is the most intuitive number, okay? So really, our intuition is really going to be heightened during this time. So pay attention to any gut feelings that you're having. Pay attention to any sort of emotions that come up or anything, okay? Any signs, any synchronicities, okay? 11 is a number of synchronicity. So pay attention to all of your surroundings. Pay attention to how your body feels, to the thoughts that you're thinking. Find a way to bring yourself into balance during this time. If you're feeling off at all, just find a way to come back into your center, get grounded, spend some time in nature, okay? Spend some time meditating. So that's what I wanted to say about the numerology of this day. It's a great time to really, again, tapping into that creativity, tapping into your creative potential. 11 is all about, starting new things. It's about new beginnings. It's about that double one energy, as well as that two energy, the sensitivities, the emotions. All of that is really going to be a major theme with this new moon in Pisces. So pay attention to that with the numerology. So with all of that being said, that's just a quick rundown. Some things that you can be mindful of, or some things that you can do with this energy of this new moon in Pisces. Number one, I'm sure you expect this, but you guys manifest, okay? This sign is all about dreams. So now is the time to dream big and make sure that you're sending your energy out into the universe, what you're hoping to accomplish, what you're hoping to bring to fruition, what you're hoping to realize right now, okay? And maybe down the future, because of course it takes some time to manifest, but what are you dreaming about, or what have you been dreaming about that hasn't yet manifested for you? Now is a great time to think about all of your dreams, all of your aspirations, write them down, do a manifestation ritual, and send that energy out there. Okay, it's really important though when you are manifesting that your vibration is high, okay? Because the way that you're feeling, right? Manifesting is all about our thoughts and our feelings. Okay, so when we're manifesting, when we're planning to bring something into this reality, we want to ensure that it is aligned with our energetic vibration. So be sure that you're clearing out any feelings that can lower your vibration. Be sure that your diet is pretty clean and you're supporting your body with light foods, things that improve your health and ensure that your aura is vibrant and strong. You're drinking water, okay? Be sure that your thoughts are positive. You're letting go of any resentment, any feelings of hate. When you can do that, your manifestations come to you a lot quicker that way, all right? So whatever you've been dreaming about, take some time during this new moon to really put in that energy and that effort towards manifesting it. There's so many different rituals that you can do. You can write it out. You can visualize. You can create a vision board. There's so many different ways to manifest. It's not like a one-size-fits-all thing. The second thing that I would say is great to do during this new moon Pisces is to do some shadow work, okay? And that goes back to just clearing out anything that's kind of weighing you down, bringing your energy down. Really tap into your subconscious mind, tap all the way deep into your unconscious and start to work through some things that maybe you haven't worked through yet. You know, life is such a journey. And as we work through one thing, maybe something else comes up that we have to work through. And it's just a never-ending process, right? So shadow work should definitely be ongoing. This is something that you should be doing to introspect and to grow and to evolve and to expand. So take some time, especially depending on the house that the sign of Pisces falls in for you. I would say do some shadow work around that area. So for example, if the sign of Pisces is in your third house, okay, this is going to be doing some work around communication. It's going to be around siblings, travel, groups, socializing, things like that. That's what the shadow work should be around. If it's in your seventh house, it's going to be around relationships, partnerships, especially romantic relationships and things like that. If it's in the first house, then it's going to be all about the self and your identity and shadow work about how you feel about yourself and what you think about yourself, your esteem and things like that. So be sure that if you do engage in shadow work, that you're paying attention to the house that the sign of Pisces falls in for you. All right. And the last thing that I would recommend you guys is to get creative. Use this beautiful, intuitive, dreamy energy to really tap into your creativity. Even if you feel like you're not a creative person, I'm telling you, we are all creative because we are all a part of the divine, right? And God is who created everything. And if we're all a part of God and God is within us, naturally we're creative. Okay, so even if you don't feel like you're creative, find a way to get creative. Do something that brings you joy and happiness. Take a painting class, dance around your house, listen to some music, write some music. I don't know, anything that is a way for you to express yourself creatively. Cook something, make something with friends, whatever the case may be. Now is the perfect time to really tap into your creative potential. Any ideas that you've been having that have been floating around, tap into that. That's going to be really helpful during this time. And one more thing I do want to say also, as far as like the dreams thing goes, besides manifesting, also you want to pay attention to your dreams. So during this time, if you are able to remember your dreams, really make an initiative to write it down, okay? Or make an effort / take the initiative to write your dreams down, because our dreams deliver information to us, okay? It's our subconscious mind working while we're sleeping. While our conscious mind is asleep, our subconscious mind is still going. And so if you are able to remember your dreams, I highly recommend when you wake up first thing in the morning, write your dreams down and see if there's any hidden messages in there that you can use to kind of guide you throughout this time. All right. So again, that is manifest.
So that was a really thorough, comprehensive summary of the new moon in Pisces. And I want to just say, if there's any Pisces in the house, feel free to press 1 if you want to share whether this lines up with your thinking, your goals, or your understanding of this birth sign. I have to say, when I first heard the summary that the creator gave for all the signs, if you just turned in, we listened to how the Most High Creator gives purpose to each one of these signs. And for me to hear that a Pisces is here to collect the world's sorrows and give it back to the universe. Oh my goodness. That's very helpful for me, because what do? Sometimes I collect the world's sorrows and I hold on to them. And then I'm realizing that my body will be inflamed or have pain in certain areas when I do that, because I look at a lot of videos on YouTube and I see a lot of information. And if I were to sit and hold on to all the sorrows and pain and things, and this might be applied to all the birth signs. If you're one who sits around listening to sorrows, who's dying, what's exploding, who's killing, and you're not giving that back to the universe to process and transform, then you could end up having inflammation in your body. That's how sensitive I am, that I'm realizing that is sometimes the source of my pain. In fact, I had pain in my right leg, and I was our female solution host Jody was here visiting, and I was telling her about I keep having this pain in my right leg. She said, "That's not your pain. That's not your pain." And I said, "Okay." And I said, "Well, whose pain is it?" And I'm just thinking, I've been processing that and realizing that too often the people around me, or what I see, a video I might see, I hold on to that pain too long. And that's when it will manifest in my own body. So I am really learning well to collect world sorrow and give it back to the universe, which can help all of us to not be in a depressed state. When we look at we're in chaos right now all over the world, in my opinion. There's so much going on that's causing suffering and pain, and we're in chaos. So we all should take note of that, to collect the world's sorrows in our vision maybe, or our hearing, but then release, let go, and give it back to the universe. Now, one more audio before, it's only a minute long, before we go to the break, and then I'll come back to the calls here. This is about the double Pisces energy, and I thought this was a significant 1 minute lesson or information on what we're seeing and what we're going through during this time.
Hey guys, so we're in Pisces season now. We just entered Pisces not long ago, but today is an extra special Sunday fun day because not only are we in Pisces sun, but tonight at about 8:58 p.m. Pacific, we're going to enter Pisces moon as well, which is going to be having us all up in our feels, all up in the mushy-gushy, all that stuff. But here's a little known fact about Pisces. The Pisces sign is actually a combination of all the other signs before it. So it's kind of the old soul of the zodiac. So actually, a lot of Pisces sometimes get mixed up and confused in their emotions, and they have a sea of emotions, but they actually have a lot of wisdom and knowledge. So we can take this time with the sun and the moon in Pisces to really contemplate, to really think deeply, and to really sit back with our emotions and let them, the way they're meant to be, is to roll through us and not to be judgmental, but to be observant. And
okay, very brief highlights for today and tomorrow, specifically today and tomorrow. We're highlighting the Pisces energy that starts today and how we can all pay attention to not only ourselves, especially if you're a Pisces, but to the people around us, and maybe impart some of this wisdom and knowledge to your Pisces friends, sisters, brothers who might be struggling right now, not understanding or not understanding what is actually going on inside of them during this time, new moon energy. So I hope that you're paying attention, even if you're not a Pisces. You've got Pisces in your life, I'm sure, and they may need your wisdom on this season we're in, especially tonight, today, and tomorrow, where there's some a need to be more intuitive and pay attention to the synchronicities, like the number 11. I have been seeing the number 11 all day today, so that's really real for me and happening for me, that synchronicity. And I see 11 a lot anyway, but today it was up there and out there. So we'll be right back. We're going to take a break. I'm going to open up let's see, my let's see, it's Naima Latif's mic. And if you're ready, Naima, you can go ahead with the commercials. And we'll be right back to talk a little bit more about Pisces before we get into this African queen energy that witnessed on Netflix. It was so interesting about the slave trade and how the relationships in that particular area of the continent. Some people don't know it's a continent, not a country, people. It's huge. And this docudrama that I watched, we'll be back. We'll be right back.
What happens when a group of people are kidnapped from their homes, smuggled away in chains, and held captive in a foreign land where they are tortured, raped, and forced to perform hard labor by the lash of a whip and under the constant threat of death? Slavery, the African American psychic trauma. What happened to the doctors, writers, scientists, builders, educators, and spiritual leaders from Africa's golden age? Who did they really capture and sell into slavery? Are all African Americans suffering from psychic trauma because of a conspiracy to hide their true identities? Do you have psychic trauma? Take the test on page 22 of the book and see. Order it online today at www.naimalatif.com. That's www.naimalatif.com. And get your personally autographed copy of the book, Slavery, the African American Psychic Trauma.
Do you want to live in a world without war? Join our global peace movement. Heavenly Culture World Peace Restoration of Life transcends culture, religion, ideology, and other boundaries to achieve peaceful harmony in the global society. HWPL is committed to bringing world peace and cessation of war through peaceful dialogue between religious groups. I am Director Shin-Suk Kim of the HWPL Chicago branch of North America. Join us for our next gathering. Call 773-580-1501 and be a part of the movement for world peace. Email us at chicagohwpl@gmail.com. I'm Beata, your holistic life coach. These days, it's more important than ever to work on your physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual health. Are you consciously breathing deeply in stressful moments? Do you have a plan or daily routine to maintain balance in your awesome body? Are you struggling to be disciplined in your eating habits? When you partner with me, I'll help you develop a personalized health plan that works for your particular lifestyle. You can find out more about me at yourholisticlifecoach.com, where you can also review my 3-step protocol to guide you to abundant health. That's yourholisticlifecoach.com, and I'm Beata.
And we're back. Thank you, Naima, for those important messages from our sponsors. And we're back. If you just joined us, we're talking about Pisces energy as an introduction to African queens. We're going to get into African queens here shortly. But as a kind of a summary, and I do have more information on Pisces that I'll play if we have time. But as a summary, kind of where we are right now at this point, we're in a double energy right now with the new moon in Pisces. So this is a time, as we heard, for us to be more pay attention to our intuitive side and begin manifesting, and pay attention to the synchronicities of 11 and to our dreams. That's something I have dreams, but I never write them down and I don't remember them, unfortunately. Mama AZ is always saying, pay attention to your dreams. And I do pay attention, but then I don't remember them. So this is a lesson for me tonight to write down my dreams, because I do them and I'll wake up and like, wow, that was a nice dream. And then 5 minutes later, I don't even remember what the dream was. So this is, I'm going to take full advantage of this moon energy and this new season. And I'm leaving the country this week, and I'm going to take all this creative energy from the moon, and especially pay attention to collecting the world sorrows, which I played earlier for you. The prior perspective of understanding astrology and the energy of each of these signs is to understand your purpose of coming into a planet like Earth at the season you came in, whether it's Taurus, seed nurturing for Taurus, questions to the world for Gemini, teach to emotions for Cancer, display creations for Leo, examine things for Virgo, service for Libra, task and purpose for Scorpio, make people laugh for Sagittarius. And as I said, that is truly what my youngest son is. He makes people laugh all the time. That's why he has so many friends. And then Capricorn, working hard. And then Aquarius, conceptualizing future. And then Pisces, which as we heard, Pisces is kind of a combination of all the signs. It comes together in the 12th zodiac sign of Pisces, and that collecting world sorrows is part of our purpose and job, but taking those sorrows, letting them be transformed by sending them out into the universe. So let me hear from another Pisces in the studio who's pressed his one, and that's our brother Kwame Sunhorse. Welcome, my fellow Piscean. Your mic is open.
I was muted.
Welcome.
Good
welcome.
evening, Sister Liana.
Good evening. How are you this evening?
And yeah, I'm very grateful, and it's most important that we as Pisces, because we're getting ready, and I sent it to you, and I know you'll listen to it. But what's happening is that, yes, we have a super new moon, because this is a super, it's closest to the earth. And so that one there gives some extra energy to it. But it's the super new moon and Pisces in that beginning our season today. And so what we're really looking at is that on March the 8th, Saturn is moving into Pisces, and it'll be there for 3 years. And we all have our Saturn return, which is every 29 and a half years. So the part that we're seeing is Pisces is going to be, Saturn will be in Pisces. Neptune is still in Pisces. It's going to be there. It's 100-something years, I think it stays into Pisces, what is going to be for our time. But what also happens with Neptune and Saturn is that Jupiter is moving ahead. So Jupiter, when March 8th comes, Saturn will be in Pisces for 3 years. So it'll go in on March the 8th, and it won't come out of Pisces until May of 2026. And the other part that is really significant is because our 2 planets for the sign of Pisces is Neptune and Jupiter. And Jupiter is moving ahead. And Jupiter, when Saturn moves into Pisces, Jupiter is ahead, and it'll move into our second house, it'll move into the houses of Aries, Taurus, and Gemini in those 3 years. And so that's connecting those Neptune and Jupiter's energy with Saturn. So we're going to go on a very powerful spiritual ride for us as Pisces. The part that we're having, it's also affecting the planet. And in that clip that you played when she was talking about the energies of what's getting ready to happen with some of the deeper shadow parts of dealing with some of these things, is that the veil has been lifted, and Saturn is going to bring out, along with Neptune and Jupiter. So we're looking at a major shift that's coming about that's needed for us, because there's always a death and a rebirth. And this is part of what we're seeing with African Queen and the African King, because both of those are showing the divine feminine and the power that she has in a part of our people, and overstanding the fight for our captivity and fighting to keep us from being captive, but fighting for the keeping alive the African spirit. And so the African Queen was very good, and she had some clips in there that I sent it to you. And it's important that we're moving into the age of Aquarius, which is the divine feminine and the sacred masculine. These are the movies and things that are going to be portrayed in the shifting of the energy of the divine feminine. So you're going to have a good show tonight.
Thank you. That was that actually was just perfect to bring in the spiritual element of the divine feminine, and then how the royalty, we can put in the royalty aspect of even every sign. But real quick, I want to play this, see what you think about this. It says, this is never say these things to a Pisces. Now, when I heard this, it's only about 3 minutes. I thought, now these are the things that might trigger a person, but to me, sometimes we need to be triggered so that we can work out our stuff. So listen to these things that someone created this audio I thought was creative and saying, well, you should never say these things to a Pisces. And I'm like, why? So here's a little clip for us to kind of have fun with.
Never, ever say these 7 things to Pisces. Pisces are gentle individuals who often put other people's needs before their own, but this doesn't mean they never get upset. In fact, they absolutely hate hearing these 7 things. Number 1, hurry up. If there's one thing Pisces hate, it's being rushed. They need to do things at their own rhythm and time, or else they're unlikely to perform well or at all. Rushing a Pisces will end either in tears or anger. Either way, it won't get anything done. Number 2, why are you lying? Pisces aren't big liars, but they do tend to omit some truths, sometimes for no other reason than they aren't sure whether they should share something with you. Rather than getting annoyed or upset, try seeing things from Pisces' perspective and gently coax them to reveal the whole truth. Confronting them head on, though, is going to do more harm than good. Number 3, you live in the clouds. It's true that Pisces enjoy spending time in their head and often indulge in their own fantasies, but they're usually far more focused on real life than people give them credit for. For Pisces, their fantasies and their thoughts are a retreat, and they'll go into their heads whenever they need a little break from the world, but only after they've finished doing whatever it is they need to do. If a Pisces is constantly spacing out around you, chances are they'd rather be anywhere else. Number 4, I can't believe you fell for that. Pisces want to see the best in others and are prone to fantastical thoughts that don't necessarily correspond to their reality. Unfortunately, this means that Pisces tend to be rather gullible as a whole and will buy into lies and scams easier than others. While it's okay to point out a scam before Pisces falls for it, you should be as supportive as possible once it happens. Pisces is already hurting. The last thing they need from you is making fun of them. Number 5, I don't think you care. You'll be hard-pressed to find someone who cares more than Pisces, so accusing them of not caring is never going to go well. This is an emotional sign that can't help but feel things intensely, even when it makes no sense. So don't doubt for a second that they care about a situation or a person. Number 6, you worry too much. Yes, they do. Pisces worry entirely too much. They know this. You know this. Everyone knows this. Must you really bring it up all the time? Pisces doesn't like worrying any more than you, and they'd love the opportunity to kick back and relax, but they can't. So please, please, please stop telling them that they shouldn't worry. It'll get you nowhere. Number 7, it's your choice. While Gemini might be known for its indecisiveness, Pisces are right up there alongside, as this sign finds it incredibly hard to make up their mind. Pisces change their mind constantly, and the more choices they have, the more likely they are to do it. So sometimes it's best if you just choose for them. Now, tell us one thing which you hate to hear in the comment box. Thank you for watching the video, and please like, share.
So I have to say, out of those 7, I think pretty much 5 of them are really true to what I used to have to react or was triggered by, especially hurry up. That's definitely something that can trigger kind of an anger or a resentment. I'll say resentment. I don't get angry, but her being told to hurry up is really something that I resent. You live in the clouds. This is something my ex-husband used to tell me all the time, not in those exact words, but he was thinking, you're not in reality. You're not that's not going to happen. You know, I was definitely a dreamer in that relationship. And I can't believe you fell for that. Yep. I've fallen for a lot of things that people would say that about me. And I don't worry as much as I used to. If you worry too much, that's not me as much. But I don't know about you, Kwame. Did any of those hit a nerve with you?
Well, I kind of, yeah, they do. And if you really look at it, that says a lot about a lot of people, because
Yes.
a lot of people don't like to be rushed.
Right.
A lot of people don't like to be judged.
Right.
So you're putting that and trying to say that this is But the part of Pisces being able, it's like the woman said on the clip, we're all 11 signs.
Yes.
And we're the feet that holds the body of consciousness and human. And so what we're doing is that we sort out and have to deal with all of these things. And trusting is because the thing of it is we will give you the opportunity. But if you cross a Pisces, you never have to worry about them ever trusting you again. That's true. That's the danger of it. We're not like Scorpio is going to be vindictive.
Right.
Scorpio will take that part that you've done and they will go to before they go to their grave, they're going to figure out a way to get you back.
That's true. I've
See,
met
the part
some...
of Pisces being the person that can say, okay, I release it, created. This is not something that you handle this. Because the thing that we know is that we are bringing down information and then sorting information that's already here. So these are the two worlds that we live in.
Absolutely. I agree totally. I got Mama AZ has pressed 1, so I'm going to open up her mic. Good evening, Mama AZ. How are you this evening?
Greetings. Thank you, Dr. V, and greetings, Brother Kwame. I have a question. All right, this is the era of Pisces. Now, the other water signs, how well do I know about Scorpio? If you mess with a Scorpion, that mug is going to get you. They're going to figure, and you're correct on the money, Brother Kwame, because Scorpios, before they die, before they transfer to the other side, they're going to find a way to get you back.
Oh, boy.
So don't mess with Scorpio. Now, how does that, with the other water signs, Cancer and Scorpio, how does that roll with the Pisces, what's happening in your dimension, being a Pisces? How does the water other people fit with that? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Now, for me, I'll let Kwame speak too, but for me, I've had Scorpios in my life for a long time. Both my son and my ex were Scorpios. And then Cancer, I have a Cancer very close to me right now. So I look at what that summary said in the beginning, how Cancer is here to teach others to accept their emotions and process them and evolve with the emotions and not hold on to the negative part of the emotion. So Cancer works along with the Pisces energy of not holding on to the world's sorrows and the sadness and all that. And then the Scorpio energy, again, their advance, their evolution, Mama AZ, when they stop trying to find vengeance, that audio that I played in the beginning was to find out what their purpose is here and be on task. So if you can get the Scorpios in your life to not pay attention to so much, I've got to get vengeance, I'm going to pay them back, but to, I think in a mature, evolved sense, they are here to stay on task and find their purpose. So Kwame, what do you say about the Cancer and Scorpio energy?
Well, and I was saying about Scorpio is vindictive. Both of those two signs, they're all three are water signs.
Right.
But the part of the crab, it has its shell and it's protected. Scorpio has its shell and its defense and its stinger. And that's why you find them that they're going to be vindictive and getting that inflict pain. The part of Pisces, we can go to the depths of the ocean, to the bottom of the ocean, or we can bring it up to the top into the heavens. We live, and that's why we're represented by two fish. We can go deep, or we can go above. And so these are the differences in that sign, in those three signs, is that one is to show one is to protect and to defend. That's the Scorpio, and then the other is to take it to the depths of the to the depths as deep as it can go, or as high as it can go. And this is what we represent by carrying the two fish carries the body, because in the human body, Pisces is represented by the feet. And so this is how I see that those three signs. And the part of it is that of all the signs, we're the deepest and spiritual. Each sign has its own connection with certain energies, but the part for Pisces is our opposite sign is that we're connected to the earth, Virgo. And she is the part that keeps us in a balance. That female energy keeps us balanced.
Right. So, Mama Z, did that clarify for you?
Yes, ma'am. I appreciate that, Brother Kwame and Dr. V. Thank us.
And I would add to the Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces energy that these three signs can be really good teachers if we work on our triggers and really, like the Scorpio works on that stay on task, purpose. If we mature, if all, and I think this was any sign, if we mature in the energy and the purpose of the Most High, the universal, planting us at these particular times, if we mature in that energy, then we can become good teachers. And that's probably signs. So I want to get into the docudrama, The African Queens, because we're in Black History Month, and Naima and her sisters, I was listening to them talk about the ways we teach Black history and the way we've learned Black history in the past is sometimes dragging, and it's not up to date in what we should be learning at this point. You know, we, number one, coming out of victim mind, and watching this African Queen docudrama on Netflix that portrays the queen Njinga. Her name was Njinga, and there were 4 episodes. I highly recommend you watch this, especially during this month of, learning about melanin people who changed the world or who taught us things. And this woman Njinga, in my opinion, she demonstrated the complexity of being in that continent with the dynamics of Portuguese humans and Dutch humans trying to grab on to the strength of melanin people to use them as slaves. When you watch these 4 episodes, you begin to really see how complex this whole thing was. That the king, her father, the king, dies, and the brother who takes over kills his sister's son, because he thinks that's the right thing to do. Now, this is only in the Black, in their community, in the African community. We haven't even brought in the Portuguese and the Dutch into the picture, and you already have murder taking place because a king with his big ego thinks he has to kill his sister's child to ego plays a part. And then when you have the dynamics of the slave trade to Brazil, I was not as aware of the influence that that Portugal had in that particular area. When you think about how large Africa is, the continent is huge now, remember. So we're only looking at a small section of Africa that this activity took place, between like 1600 to 1800, something like 200 years. They're portraying the activity of slave trade with Portugal involved, and then the Dutch involved, and all of the negotiations that came into play were around this little community where Njinga became the queen. But the dynamics that Even the African people captured their own people to put them into the slave trade. Why? Because that's the only way some of them could survive, was to bring in their own people as part of this trade with the Portuguese and the Dutch to save their community, basically, because the weaponry was more advanced from the Portuguese and the Dutch, and all kinds of things had to happen. And then the final analysis of it was that in order for this queen to survive and stay in her royal position, she had to compromise and become what we say a Christian. And I was telling my friend we watched this, and I was telling him that that's how Americans and Christians lost their spirituality, is they gave up the connection to the ancestors. You hear throughout this docudrama the women talking about the ancestors are here. The queen's daughter or the queen's sister dies, and she's really in grief. And her advisor, this woman who stood by her, but she's right here with you. She's right here with you. The ancestors are here. Mama AZ, I thought about you a lot in this, because you're always talking about your connection to the ancestors. And yet we lost that when we became Christians, or we became a Christian community or nation, because the focus was on Jesus is the savior. We got Jesus now. We don't need the ancestors. This is my mind thinking, and you can comment if you want. But we went into, because Njinga because she had to save her community, she had to compromise and go with the Pope's idea of the doctrine of discovery, I think, and become a Christian and leave all the ancestral, spiritual, metaphysical truth behind. Go ahead, sister.
Dr. V, oh my gosh, you tripped me out. And oh gee, because earlier today, somebody said something to me, and that video that you played about cancer, you're here to teach. I was told in my meditation, and the dream that I had from Reverend A.A. Allen. And I'm not claiming to be Cryon. I'm not claiming to be all of these other channelers who are Caucasian. I'm just me. But this is what I heard. Not to be afraid, little sister or baby girl. You are here to teach. That's what Reverend Allen calls me now. And I have enough air in my balls to speak about this. You are here to teach, no matter what goes on, whatever with these people here in Fort Huachuca, what am I saying? Cochise County. That's what I brought you here for, and the others. So, Dr. V, thank us.
Thank us indeed. Thank us indeed. Video. And we've got to go to a break. So, yeah, can you hold that thought, Kwame, and then we'll come back. Naima Latif, your mic is open, and she has a caller in the studio as well. So when we come back from the break, we'll take Kwame's comment, and then we'll go to the caller in the Female Solution studio. So thank you, Naima.
Everything you need, what your body needs, is found in nature. So Susan Essentials doesn't do it any other way. Susan Essentials provides your employees and individuals access to over 20,000 nutritional products, and they are shipped direct to your door. Because Susan Essentials is certified in plant-based healing, we're permitted to offer you the best nutritional supplements on the planet. They're non-GMO and sustainably produced, and we take the guesswork out for you. Let Tucson Essentials help you take control of your health today. Is Monday morning a struggle to get out of bed into the swing of things? Well, don't worry, you are not alone. Join us for thought-provoking, stimulating, and mindful conversations on higher learning with Zelda Speak for your Monday morning mindfulness session on Blog Talk Radio, The Female Solution, Mondays, 7:30 until 9 a.m. Be sure and send your ideas, thoughts, comments, and suggestions. Also, if you'd like to be a guest on the show, visit ZeldaSpeaks.com and send us your info. We'd love to have you. Experience mindfulness moments with the mindfulness / stress relief coach, Zelda Speaks. And thanks for sharing the mindfulness moment tip of the day. Stay on purpose, stay empowered, and stay tuned to your next session of mindfulness on higher learning with Zelda Speaks. Make it a mindful day. And thanks for listening.
Crime in Chicago continues to increase. Community and politicians must come together to make a change. No one person can solve these problems by themselves, but I believe together we can make progress. Let's provide job training, economic growth, and invest into our 77 communities. Let's rebuild and restore Chicago. Vote for me for mayor of Chicago. I'm Dr. Willie Wilson, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Willie Wilson for mayor.
All right, we're back. And Kwame, you had a question or comment, and then we're going to go to our caller in the Female Solutions studio.
Right. And it's very important that we perceive what they were showing. Both women in both movies were talking about ancestors. And when I talked about the Overground Railroad and creating oases, is because the oasis stands for our ancestors' spirit in service. When our ancestors are here, and that's what they were sharing, is that they wanted them to give up that part of worshiping, which is the Christ is a spirit and an ancestor. They want you to give energy to theirs and not your own. And this is the challenge that was had by the people there and the people here. Because even when we see somebody murdered or shot, what's the first thing people do? They make a shrine to that person. That means that they're honoring where that body left where that spirit left the body at. And that's honoring the ancestor that person has become because their life has been taken. And so we're doing the representation of our culture, but we have to have the knowledge of what we're doing in order to make the power of it more powerful.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree. We've got to get back to overstanding and understanding the importance of the history in Africa that helps us move into this new paradigm that we have to move into. So, Naima, did you say we had a caller in the Female Solutions studio? I think your mic, let me see. Did I close your mic? Let me open your mic again. Okay. I'm opening Naima.
And 314-677, your mic is open. And then after this caller, I have a comment also.
Okay.
314-677, go right ahead.
Hello, Naima. How you doing?
I'm fantastic.
Let me know you are.
That's Brother Pianki. That's Brother Pianki.
Those zoo types, yes. Those zoo types and metaphorical that people go by today, allegorical personage or Greek creation.
What are you saying is a Greek creation again?
They get their base. Well, your Aries, Taurus, your Pisces, Aquarius, They are Greek creations. Actually, Pisces originally, as was produced by the people of the Nile Valley, and you can see the zodiac disc today in the Temple of Dendera up in the observation room. Pisces was Heru of the two crocodiles. And somebody mentioned about Cancer, which was the crab. Cancer was Kepler Ptah. And those zoological, which is produced by the precession of the Earth as it travels through the constellation in its wobble. Many would come on and take on their own, like the tribes of Israel. Then you had the tribes of Ishmael. They had their 12 symbols and that also. And another thing, too, that's kind of false. I mean, it shows you this wouldn't be the same as it was originally. They had the calendars today, and you can see the calendars today. They're off of Aswan. They're on the island of Philae. The calendar had 10-day weeks. 10-day weeks, 36 weeks, and at the end they had 5 days for the OPEC festival, which was a holiday. So I guess it's okay to buy into the astrological science today. I mean, that's what people do. People do things that fit them for where they are and when they are. But when you come back to talking about the originality, they're not the original. They are makeovers off of something that was before them.
Well,
nothing wrong with that. But,
yeah, and I don't disagree with you if you have studied this about the Greek and all, but there's also signs in the cosmic heavens that, like, you can see some of these zodiac signs in the star formation. And I think, isn't that where the African people learned to have their own calendars? They were looking at the stars and making analysis and decisions and assumptions, not based on man's ideas, but looking up and saying, oh, look at those stars, the bear, look at the bear. You can see the water bearer. You can see that was my understanding, or is my understanding, that these things first showed up in the stars.
Well, yeah, that's true.
And then they were analyzed by man.
Yeah, that's true. They looked at the stars. And one reason why they had an advantage over other places, because the area that was dry didn't produce moisture that would fog out the observation of the stars. One of the biggest experiences, and see, I've seen these things. I mean, that calendar, the 25,000-year calendar, exists today. It's 25,000 years that they had to plot the precession of the Earth through the constellations, and they had to do it at least 2 times to make sure they had it right. So you're talking about 50,000 years of observation.
Right.
And, one of the funny experiences I had, and hang on, listen to it, I was in Ethiopia, and we had just came out of a meeting place. It was dark outside. It was nighttime, of course. We went in the day and came out of the night. And I stepped outside, me and somebody else, and we looked up in the sky and ducked. You know why we ducked? Because it looked like a star was right on our head. It was so clear. So that's the difference in what's there in that part of the world with the climate and so forth and what we have here and where we are today. You can't see the sky real well around the city. You have to go out in the countryside and take a look at it. And if you can at that time. All I'm just saying is that the original names for those constellations is not what we study today. They're based on what the Greek produced when they came in. Orion was a star. The 3 stars in the 3 stars in his belt is Amalek, Amatech, and Metaka. And the star in his hand is Sirius, which was at that time, I can't think of the name, was Sirius' name. They call it Sirius today, but it wasn't Sirius.
Well, I'm going to let Kwame answer to that, because he Kwame knows a lot more about astrology and these things than I do. So Kwame, do you have a comment on what Bianchi has just said?
And I thank Bianchi, and I had my daughter to go there because she just left Egypt. Today is Sunday, so she left Saturday morning, and she just got back from Kemet. And the part that she went to the Temple of Dendera, the zodiac that was on the ceiling was blown out and taken, and is in the Louvre in France as we speak.
Oh wow!
They've taken it out of.
Well, the replacement is still. The replacement is. You're right. The replacement is still there, though.
Right, but what I'm saying, they blew the original out of the ceiling and took it and put it into the Louvre. But what we're looking at, and this is the part of our ancestors understanding the body of what they called Adam Kadmon. And that is the 12 signs. Really it was 13 because Oshochi, the serpent, it didn't have enough days in its view that they would give it to put it into the calendar. And the part that we're understanding is that was the way our ancestors saw and kept time with that, because even Sirius is behind Orion, the 3 stars in Orion's belt. It's behind Orion, and that's why they call it the dog star. And the part of it is it follows behind it, and just below the 3 stars, when you look it up at the Orion and you look to the left down from it, you'll see Sirius is the largest star, and it was called Isis. This is what they would represent Isis.
So it's all.
Well, you made mention about 13. 13 was a lunar calendar. Hang on for a second. 13 was a lunar calendar. It was not the solar calendar. The reason why you have 13, because the moon waxes and wanes 13 times in a year. That's why a female has 13 menstrual periods in a year. You have 13.
Right.
So,
and that's why the Mayan.
I spent about 9 years going in and out of. I spent about 9 years going in and out of tombs and temples and on digs all the way down to the first cataract at Hollywater, where some of the objects there dated back over 65,000 years ago through carbon-14 and other isotopic types of dating. But they're there. And I don't say that it was my ancestors, because that's you talking about 10,000, 12,000 years ago. Those people that came from many places. And Egypt and Kush, Kush, which was now that area was Nubia, then Abyssinia, then Ethiopia. Those people were highly ethnocentric. They did not believe in mixing. And I don't mean mixing with Europeans. They didn't mix with Asians. And their God professed that because the child, Hatshepsut, was born of an immaculate conception because Amun wanted to have a pure solar child. And Amun was the god of the Kushites. Ra was the god of the Egyptians. And you had many efforts to try to combine the two together in order to form alliances to go to war against other tribes that was coming in. But they were highly ethnocentric. They didn't believe in mixing.
And I agree. I agree with both of you. But what we're blessed to be in a time where the internet can give us so much knowledge and information, and then we can take that information and evolve, because look at where technology is going right now with app GT and all the AI GT and all this. So how are we going to use this new technology and learn from our past? Naima, you had a comment. I didn't want to exclude you there.
Yes, yeah, and then thank you, Bianchi, for your thought.
And then I have comments on Facebook.
I was going.
Go ahead.
Yes, I was going to make a comment about Queen Nzinga. You were speaking of her.
Yes.
Queen Nzinga. About 28 years ago, a company out of Indiana produced a series of audio tapes featuring great African kings and queens. And one of the audio tapes they presented was the one on Queen Nzinga. And they actually asked me to do the voiceover
Oh,
for the
wow.
script they had written about her life.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because, you know, I've got theater training on how to do accents, you know, different countries and that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I did a lot of research on her and her time. You mentioned the killing of her son by her brother, because her father had been king, and then when he died, the son assumed the throne. Well, you know, during that period, and in other countries as well, when you have inheritances of royal positions, you have a lot of murders going on. You
Absolutely.
know, the one brother would kill another one, you know, in order to take the throne, that kind of thing. So it happened throughout Africa, it happened throughout Europe, it happened throughout Asia. That's what people did when power is assumed by family lineage.
Yes.
So at that time, of course, it was according to the male heir, but in Nzinga, she actually, and I'm not sure how her brother died. I don't know if it was foul play or whatever, but he died and she assumed the throne. She became the woman king, and they called her, you know, the king queen, you know, because she ran the military. And it was an interesting story. It was during that time when they were fighting to keep Portugal from expanding the slave trade, and she was very powerful in raising an army that fought back and defeated them. So I had fun doing that script when she's telling this story about how when she went to visit the king of Portugal, and they were so arrogant they wouldn't give her a chair to sit down. So she had her men come in and just bend down and make a chair for her to sit. So she's
Right.
like sitting on this like throne-like chair made out of human bodies and all of that.
Yes.
So she was a very powerful figure in history. But just like I think you've talked about the movie The Woman King, even there was a lot of viciousness within and between the various African nations. A lot of the slave trading did evolve around people getting superior weapons. So I think when we finally do a real serious reckoning of what happened, we can't blame Europeans. We can't blame anybody. It was infighting, and the people who took advantage of the opportunity, they were just opportunists. Okay, you all are fighting each other. You're making prisoners of war. We want bodies to come and build up this land that we just stole. And so, I mean, it just was equal opportunity for everybody. You had all kinds of people benefiting from the slave trade, and African kings were basically staying in power by selling off. And I can say this before, you know, people selling off the people that they felt were undesirables or people they felt were enemies. And it was a political move. It was not a black and white thing. And that's something we got to face. You know, we did this to ourselves, and it was a great lesson to learn and karma that we are experiencing as a result of that.
And here's the big issue for me, Naima, is that the powers, the spirit of the Most High, the creative universe allowed all of this to take place. For what purpose? And it kind of goes back to the zodiac signs that we've had. If you believe in reincarnation, you've had souls coming and going in these seasons of zodiac energies. Pisces, for instance, coming in February, during February. It might have been a lunar calendar way back when, but now we look at it as February 19th, this energy of the moon, as when I entered or you entered in certain time. But it was a divine order that these things took place. I got a text this earlier about comments being made about some video that Disney put out about reparations and all that. And and they just thought it was horrible the way people responded to the video. And but this is divine order. We're all under divine order. And that's how I see things, especially doing soul purpose healing all these years. Everything is under divine order. So even that little town back in Africa where Njinga went through her changes and challenges to become a Christian queen, that was a small part of history in a small area of
and
the
it was
big
a political move too.
Yes.
It was a political decision
Yes.
that she made.
Yes.
You know, making alliances and that kind of thing. But you know, one last thing, I know we got to take a break pretty soon, but one last thing I wanted to mention also, one of my favorite interviews that we did on the Female Solution, this was several years ago, and a friend of mine even wanted me to get them the link to that. And you mentioned reincarnation. Well, we interviewed a woman, she's living in California now, Caucasian woman, but she's gone through past life regressions, and she's actually, even now, she's a past life regressionist, and she studied it and everything. But she first was inspired to go into the field because of a session that she went into where she was regressed back to a life where she was a Black male slave.
Oh, wow.
In America. And she remembered being a child in Africa, being stolen, you know, out of Africa, and she was brought with her parents, but then she was sold away from her parents. She was very young because she was a male, so the he. But it was so funny listening to her talk because she said out of all of her past lives that she had been regressed to, that's the one that was actually her favorite life because she learned so much about love, even though it was a horrific experience being sold away from her parents, you know, the cruelty of the plantation, but she loved the animals, and there's a lot of love within the community among the Black people. And what had triggered her to go and try to find a memory that when she was a child, it was something about gospel music that just spoke to her soul. And she told her parents, she had listened to a song, and she said, "Can you buy me some of that music?" And, you know, and it was funny because all during the interview, she kept saying, "You know, they treated my people so badly, and my people have had to struggle." Because she was like really identifying with being Black, even though she is now a white woman. But that just lets you know that the souls that have been through that slave experience, some of them might be white people now. And some of us who might have been a white people, we could be reincarnating as some Black people now. So you don't know who you were back then. It's just a matter of what your soul is experiencing now. But you could have been on either side of the fence.
Absolutely. And I want to read some, that is so relevant to this Njinga story. And here we are today talking about incarnations during a particular astrology energy sign. But I want to read some comments from our Facebook audience. Eva Marie Keys has joined us. Thank you, Eva, for joining us. She said, "My grandmother raised my siblings and I, and not one time did she place religion on us. She was not supposed to. I am extremely connected to Mother Earth." You are blessed, my dear. Not many of us had that experience. And she says, "I am Earth woman, and Mother Earth is my home. When I was a child, I questioned everything." I think our Monday morning host Zelda mentioned that one time, how she questioned everything. And Mama AZ, if you're listening, Eva Marie says, "Pleased to tell you I love her. I love her." So thank you, Eva, for sending the love. And I think she had one more comment. And Zelda is sharing, "Grand Rising, beautiful Queen Teacher. All Pisces I know are so sweet, sometimes to a fault." Absolutely. We have to grow out of it. Sweet. So thank you, Zelda. And then Zelda says, "Homeless people hurt homeless people. That's tomorrow on Monday morning mindfulness." And Eva Marie said, "Did she place religion?" I'm not sure what that means. Maybe you could elaborate on that, Eva. Did she place religion? So yes, we are really in a place in this season of our lives where so much information is here to help us evolve. And the moon calendar, I think about the moon. I keep a moon calendar all the time because I keep the Sabbath based on the moon, with the positions of the moon tell me when my Sabbath was. And there were times when I was following a calendar and religion and denominations, but the moon, I met people who were following a moon calendar. You don't even need a calendar, a paper calendar, when you're following the moon, because every time that moon is a quarter moon, it's time to rest. A quarter moon is time to rest. So every 7 days. And Pianki's right. The calendar is supposed to be 13 moon cycles. So we have much to learn. And it's documentaries like Nanjinga that can really open our eyes to the need to have more compassion, understanding about our history, especially in the slave trade, where everybody was involved in profiting either politically or ego-wise. Power. That's what many African rulers were basing their decisions on, was the place of power. They wanted to stay in power. And if we can really grasp that history, we can stop begging our government. This government had very little to do with the slave trade and what happened in the plantations in the South. You could probably look to more religious people, like beginning with a J, that profited off of slave trade. But do you really want to go into that battle? I don't think we need to have that battle. We just need to focus on what can we do with this new technology that is upon us, and how can we be more forgiving of everybody who participated in that slave trade, especially the Portuguese down in Brazil. I'm thinking you need to give up that language, first of all, because those Portuguese slave traders were ruthless. So anyway, Naima, would you like to play our last group of commercials? And we'll be right back.
Hi, this is John Alexander.
And I'm Naima Latif. Meet people like you who are making a positive difference in the world. Watch us every day on The Media Connection at www.youtube.com/The Media Connection TV.
YouTube it. We'll see you soon.
There are people who choose to make a positive difference in the world. Our job is to bring you their stories to motivate you to do the same. Join us each week, host John Alexander and Naima Latif, as we bring you the educators, entertainers, elected officials, religious leaders, and community activists whose works are transforming this world. Find out how you can make a difference too. Be inspired. Watch The Media Connection. Mondays at 5 p.m. and Tuesdays at 12 noon on cable TV, Channel 19 in Chicago. In other cities, check your local cable listing.
Our kids are the future and should not be left behind. One person should not decide what is the best for our 77 communities. Politicians must work in their best interest. They deserve a safe education with resources that meet every student need. Let's rebuild and restore Chicago. Vote for me for mayor of Chicago. I'm Dr. Willie Wilson, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Willie Wilson for mayor.
Tune in to Soulful Solutions with Dr. Debbie Green on Thursdays at 7 a.m. Central Standard Time and 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time to hear great topics and stories on grief and turn it into victory. Join Dr. Debbie Green to listen to stories of triumph and learn how to overcome. You are not alone in your life, and there is hope in the darkest hour. This is your time to learn strategies and solutions to improve your life. It's your time. So join Dr. Debbie Green with Soulful Solutions and call in on Thursday at 7 a.m. Central Standard Time and 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time at 515-605-9325 with comments and questions. Look to hear from you real soon.
And we are back. You know, Naima, I was wondering, is there any way to find out when Queen Njinga was born, I was just thinking it would be interesting to know what her astrology energy was, but I was probably too old, I guess, to find that out. So I have a little.
It's fun. Also, we have a caller on the line here, 336-350. I think Mama AD has another thing. You want to let me open her mic?
Oh, sure. Go ahead. Before I play one more, I wanted to play one more audio, but sure, let's open up her mic.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. V. I personally called in on Dr. Latif's line because I wanted to make a statement. She's correct when she talks about we've been all kinds of people to accomplish the assignment that we agreed to when we came back to this lifetime. This is my belief from the studies and things that my mother taught me. I have researched, and I am so grateful for Dr. Latif. I met her through her husband, Brother Abdul, and the rest is history. Dr. Latif, I am so grateful that you decided to come in the package that you're in now, because a lot of us who look like us, you and I, we are so hypnotized by the Christian faith. We don't want to even go there about other lives and other people. We agree to a certain assignment, and sometimes our soul requires us to either come in a Caucasian body or an Oriental body or a copper body or whatever the case may be, depending on the assignment that we chose in this incarnation. And this is Mama Bonfire, Robert Lee Paris, here in stolen land in Cochise County and Fort Huachuca. Peace. Thank us, Dr. Latif. You bad. I love it.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, we're all connected, and go ahead.
I found the date of death. I'm still looking for the exact birth date. It was in 1583. So I'm going to see if I can find a month of her birth year.
So that was an 8. I just say I'm adding up the year, so that was an 8. That's interesting, but yeah. We probably won't be able to find the day and month. I'm sure they didn't keep good records like that. But since we're talking about the female energy, the queen, I want to just play this one more fun audio about female Pisces. If you're looking for a Pisces woman, or if you have a Pisces woman, here's some energy information about Pisces women.
What does a Pisces woman like and dislike in a partner? So you're interested in a Pisces woman? Who can blame you? They're so mysterious and dreamy. If you're wondering how to make her yours, you're in the right place. Natives of this sign are sensitive, intuitive, and imaginative. These are the things they hold dear to their hearts and the things they absolutely despise. What does the Pisces woman like? Pisces women can be hard to pin down. They go with their gut and tend to believe in fantasies and magic. Here are some of the things the Pisces woman appreciates about her partner or potential partner. Number 1, a partner who lets them embrace their emotions, that they're too much for their partners because of their overly sensitive nature. If you manage to provide a space for her where her emotions are not only tolerated, but embraced and celebrated, you'll be miles ahead from the competition. Make her feel like she's awesome for being emotional. Make her feel safe so she can open up and be vulnerable with you. She will thank you forever for it. Number 2, Empathy. Pisces women have the innate ability of feeling other people's emotions as if they were their own. They notice when someone is careless about other people's emotions, or when they lack the ability to empathize with them and see things from another perspective. They will especially take notice if you're anything less than kind to older people or people who can't stand up for themselves. When trying to seduce a Pisces woman, or frankly, always, try to be the kindest version of yourself. Number 3, poetry and music. Pisces women often express how they feel through symbolism. Words can feel to them as insufficient to express how much they feel. They often resort to music or poetry, the finest use of words, to express themselves. Their ideal lover is often someone who can also speak this language. Express all the nice things you feel for her by sending her songs or poems, and she'll be yours forever. Number 4, a partner who dreams with her. Pisces women like to get lost in their own fantasy worlds. Become a part of her dreams by including her in your plans and your wildest dreams. Plan trips with her to the other side of the world. If she wants children, talk about how beautiful your children will be. If she wants to get married, make a Pinterest about your dream wedding and show it to her. Some women may find this off-putting, but not Pisces women. They'll love that kind of gesture and really treasure it. In conclusion, if you can embrace her more emotional side, Pisces women will fall head over heels for you. It's also important to be kind and empathetic, to express yourself through poetry and music, and to include her in your musings about the future. What does the Pisces woman dislike? Pisces women are pretty open-minded when it comes to falling in love. However, there are some things that are definitely red flags for them. Be careful not to incur in behaviors they dislike, as once they decide someone doesn't have the right vibe, they will disappear from their life like a ghost. Number 1, judgmental people. Pisces women understand that everyone is fighting their own private battles, so they're very slow to judge. If you're constantly passing judgment on the people around you, especially around trivial things like their taste in clothes or what they choose to do in their free time, this will get you on their blacklist. Number 2, cold people, or people who have trouble showing what they feel. Pisces women have no time for people who have trouble expressing how they feel, or that have cold or unemotional tendencies. They generally want their partners to be able to match their level of feeling. One of the biggest mistakes you can make with Pisces women is failing to show your emotions, no matter how big or small. Number 3, people who don't give her space to escape. Pisces women need to escape to fantasy worlds from time to time in order not to feel suffocated by the cold, hard reality. If you're constantly demanding that they be present in the moment and paying attention all the time, they'll start to associate the feeling of suffocation with you. Give her time and space to get lost in her favorite novels, TV shows, or simply their own imagination. And number 4, people who point out they're not always the victim. They might not like this, but they need this. Pisces women tend to think they're never the villain in anyone else's story, and are always manipulating the narrative so that they're the good person that's been wronged or slighted by the other party. If you point out that they hurt somebody, or that they're in the wrong, and that they're not mature enough to handle that truth, they will flee. In conclusion, Pisces women are very special, kind, and compassionate. If she falls for you, she'll make a very loving partner. Just be careful not to come across as judgmental or unemotional. Don't suffocate her, and take into account that she has a hard time seeing herself as the villain. Is there a special Pisces woman in your life? What will you do or have done to please her? Thank you.
Now, some of that is true and some not for me, but one for sure is poetry and music. Oh my goodness, that's what moves me, is poetry and music. So let's go to a call, 708-602. I believe that's Brother Eddie Harris. 708-602, your mic's open. Check your mute button.
Greetings, family. I'm here. Have my mute on, trying to get back to it.
All right.
How's everybody
Nice.
doing this evening?
Great. Nice to hear your voice. We're talking Pisces energy and African kings and queens.
Yes. Brother Kwame, Mother AZ, and everybody else who chimed in. I just wanted to touch on that powerful number of that 1 and 1 fish, that 11 that was mentioned earlier.
Yes.
And bring things into the 11 that might deal with you and might not. But I think they basically deal with all of us. But starting off with the 11 is no more than a mindset. I don't care who you are. We all have our individual mindset. So mindset is 29, which is that 11. Pisces a lot want to prove things that they found out, things that they've come across. It's basically sharing, but again, it's the proof is in the pudding. Proof is also 20, which is that 2 or 11. It's the patterns that everybody's looking for. Patterns is 2. Because the patterns help us to measure our mindset. Measure is 2, mindset is 2. But we can't get caught up in our emotions so much that it distracts us. Emotions is 2. Because the emotion is directly connected to our gut feeling. Gut is 11, which is also 2. It's 20, 20, which is 2. But what has happened is that a lot of us have become disobedient. Disobedient is 47, which is that 11. Bait is 11. We've been disobedient. Even when we pray. Pray is also 11, family. And we pray, our prayer is connected to the telepathy. It's connected to our meditation. Meditation is 38. All the 2. Even learning visualization being 47, which is another 2. It's our medicine. Medicine is 29. And the medicine is coming directly from 2, also referred to as the universe, which is 2, also referred to as the Milky Way, which is 2. And it starts with every day is 29, which is 2. Gratitude being 47, which is 2. And that's where we start from. Every day, gratitude, family, within your own mindset to develop anything you want to. You change your mind to the can-do attitude. Stop saying what you can't do. It's I can-do attitude. With that, family, that's the 11. And 11 is communication also. My part of this communication through prayer and love, baby. With that, good evening, family, and have a good night. Peace and love.
Well, I want to tell you, you just read my horoscope, my life, my everything. You know, you said proof is in the pudding. They used to call me pudding. That was a nickname for me, was pudding. So when I heard, I was like, what? What did he say, pudding? And then I lived on 47th Street. I was my first residence when I was born. In fact, for 17 years, I lived at 833 East 47th Street in Chicago. And I was very disobedient. It's like, can you highlight disobedience for the, so, and I looked at as my unconscious Pisces life. In the beginning, it was put in a disobedient, but now gratitude is my life now. Every morning, gratitude, go to bed, gratitude, 47. So, and then you mentioned communication, and that's what I've been practicing and working on since I started Blog Talk, was perfecting and improving my communication and my listening. So, wow, I don't know how you knew all that, but that really summed up my Pisces life.
And I don't give myself that credit. It comes to me being gifted to see the number behind these words that we use.
Right.
So that's, and again, that's my gratitude to give over what I've been given to share.
Wow.
That's it. And by the way, did you say 833?
Yes.
East 47th Street?
Yes.
Wow. So my first address was 820 East 49th Street, right down the street from you.
Oh my goodness.
Right down the street, 820.
Wow.
I was on 49th, right between Cottage and Drexel.
Yeah.
And you was on 47th Drexel.
Wow, what a small world.
Yes.
Oh, that's so. What
when
what
you said
school?
that address, those numbers hit, I'm like, look at this. Yes.
What's now? What school did you go
Small
to?
world.
What school did you go to? Revis?
Yes, I went to grammar school. Was Revis Elementary School, and I went to Hales Franciscus High School right there on 49th and Cottage.
Oh my
The only all-black Catholic school in the city. Yes.
Right. And I went down the street to Kosminski and Kenwood High School.
Okay. Yes.
Wow.
Well, I was supposed to go to Kenwood because I went to the original Kenwood that was renamed Lewisworth when they made Kenwood Academy.
Right. Okay.
So yeah, I went to Kenwood in junior high school for advanced math. For what else? I was in advanced math when I was in junior high, going to a high school math course. So yeah.
Wow, that is just amazing. Amazing. Yeah. See, and it just full circle, the African nation, the African Queen Njinga, small. That area is so small compared to the size of Africa, and yet it had a huge influence on going across the water frequently and coming back and forth, looking for slaves for Brazil. But it was just a small area of influence for the world. And now we have a lot of people in this area from Brazil. They speak Portuguese. So I look at what I just learned about Njinga and that African nation. And now some of those people could very likely be descendants of Africans from Njinga's community, because Brazil is spread, that people are spreading all over the world right now, leaving that area. So thank you so much, Brother Eddie. That was just powerful. I want to just leave with gratitude, a serenity prayer. Let's listen to the serenity prayer that we might all, no matter what our astrological sign, that in these times of chaos, this is the prayer that we should remember to bring us back to peace and joy and dependent gratitude, more than anything.
God, grant me the serenity to accept things I can't, courage to change all I can, and wisdom, yes, wisdom, the wisdom to know the difference. God, grant me the serenity to, things I cannot change, the courage to change all I can, and the wisdom
And I want to read these comments. I can't believe Zelda says, she says, OMG, I lived 828. Wait, let me put this on. OMG, I lived 828 East 47th Street in the 70s. How did I not know this? How did I not know this? Let's see, in the 70s. Okay, I was in high school. I was at Kenwood in the 70s. I graduated in 72. 828 East 47th? Wait a minute. That's like next. Okay, I'm trying to remember where that was. That on the corner? That, oh my goodness, Zelda. That's why we're sisters from another mother. We literally have been sisters from another mother. And then you went to Dr. Martin Luther King High, 44th and Drexel. Okay, I know where that was, right down the street. Love you, my sister. I knew it was something more connecting us at this point. And here we are back together again. So everybody, be sure and join Zelda, my sister from another mother, in the morning. Homeless people hurt homeless people on Monday morning. We're going to learn a lot. And Zelda will lead us in some very powerful breathing and meditation in the morning. So thank you all for joining me. This has just been so exciting for me to connect and become more conscious and less judgmental, because that's definitely something I have been and working on, coming out of being judgmental, being more loving, compassionate, less critical, less condemning, and less controlling. That's me. Thank you so much, Brother Eddie Harris, for reading my horoscope tonight. And everybody who showed up.
90 seconds.
May that prayer be your prayer as we come out of the chaos that is surely here, but moving us into a new earth and a better paradigm. So it's all good. And we're going to play our global ending. And everybody have a really restful night. And we'll say goodbye to our global family.
60 seconds. We've come to the end of our show today, but you can hear every show in the archives at www.blogtalkradio.com/the-female-solution. You can also hear today's show on the Female Solution Facebook page. Go to www.facebook.com/the-female-solution. Leave your comments about today's show. You can always reach me on my website at www.naimalatif.com. That's www.naimalatif.com. Watch our TV shows, listen to our radio shows, order our books, and be sure to get your copy of the book, The Female Solution. Seconds. On behalf of our team of radio hosts, I'd like to thank all of you who participated in today's discussion. And to our global family listening from all around the world, say thank you.
Thank you.
To our family in China, Shishe. India, Zanyaba. Japan, Arigato. Korea,
Kamsamida.
Russia, Spasiba. Germany, Danke. Poland,
Jonkinyo.
France, Merci.
Merci beaucoup.
Spain, Gracias.
Gracias.
Italy, Grazie.
Grazie.
Egypt, Shukran.
Shukran.
Ghana, Medasi.
Medasi.
Nigeria, Eshe.
Eshe.
South Africa, Nyabonga.
Nyabonga.
Senegal, Geret.
Geret.
Kenya, Asante.
Asante.
Israel, Toda.
Toda.
Pakistan, Shukriya.
Shukriyan.
Afghanistan, Tashakur.
Tashakur.
Saudi Arabia, and may peace be upon
Namaste.